About myself. During the time in the early 80s, when Raila was arrested and eventually charged with treason and was thrown there in committee, I went to Jaramogi and I said, you know what? Do you know he's been charged with treason? And I've read what the Constitution says and says the only verdict is death. He laughed and told me, don't worry, those things will not happen. I don't know whether he believed it or he was just trying to encourage me to know that things were okay. That was Jaramogi. He would always encourage me and encourage all of us. There was also that soon after that, he was put under house arrest here in Kisumu. But for the first 3 months, I was allowed to go and see him in Kisumu. Later on, I was barred from even walking on Taifa Road. Taifa Road is that road where his house is. I was given a letter that restricted me from either walking on Taifa Road or driving along Taifa Road or being anywhere near Milimani. Those were the rules those days. Anybody could make a rule and that rule stood. So I was not able to see him. But later on, after that, I lost my job. The first sacking or the first retirement, 1988. Later on, he told me, don't worry about those people. You know, there are many ways that people can live. You don't only have to be employed to live. There are many things you can do. And he started training me on how to do other things. He started training me on how to manage people and how to manage some businesses. And I still do that up to today. My greatest teacher that modeled me was Mzee Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. I know most of you ask, why weren't you modeled by your father? My father died when I was about 7 years old. So I grew up without a father. I didn't know what the responsibilities of fathers in the homes. I thought my mother was everything, and actually she was everything. But I didn't know that there could be a father. When I met Jaramogi and I became one of the daughters-in-law, he loved me dearly. And I used to say, so this is how those people with fathers feel. I found a father, a real father in Jaramogi. And his passing actually still hurts us up to today. In my speeches, where I work, whatever I do, I always refer to him, that Jaramogi would not do it like this. Or when somebody confronts me with problems, I said, what would Jaramogi say? What would Jaramogi do? He was a great teacher. He was a great father-in-law. He was a great friend. And with those few remarks, we thank God and we pray to God to rest his soul in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Min Peng. She has the record of being the lady who was retired in quotes in public interest twice for being associated with the Jaramogi Odinga family. That was the only crime for her being retired twice in public interest. Now we will go to a documentary on Jaramogi's political life. So if you can bring that documentary, because Jaramogi rose from the village and became a child of the world. There we are.
Jaramogi Ajuma Oginga Odinga is a political giant who straddled Kenya's political landscape like a colossus, both in life and in death. A nationalist and statesman, who remains as the greatest of them in the political arena, who stands tall as the great patriot Kenya has ever had and a doyen of opposition politics, betrayed at both of Kenya's momentous political turning points, being was a teacher by profession, come businessman and politician, is best remembered as a selfless political leader who sacrificed his personal glory for the sake of the country. When he declined the golden offer that was placed in his hands to be become Kenya's founding president, and instead demanded for the release of Jomo Kenyatta, who was in incarceration, to come and lead. This is said to have shocked many, portraying him as a rare breed of politician.
We have political outlook in this country than we are. We are still in the stages of learning politics from him.
Odinga plunged in the world of murky politics in 1947, becoming a member of the leading lights in Kenya's independence struggle. And when full independence dawned, his efforts and loyalty to the cause were rewarded when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta became president. Jaramogi became Kenya's first vice president. However, the two practiced different political ideologies, and it was only a matter of time. In 1966, 2 years after independence, Kenya's founding vice president Odinga resigned from his position because his principles were in sharp conflict with government policies at the time, which he felt were drifting far away from democracy, which was a grand betrayal to the independence dream. Hence his autobiography, Not Yet Uhuru.
Jomo tended to steer away from what they had promised the citizenry. For instance, the land. The land was actually the big factor in disagreement between Jaramogi and Mzee, because Jaramogi and the other guys like Bill Kagia, for instance, plus a guy by the name J.D. Kala, all these are dead. They were very strong supporters of land being distributed to the citizenry.
Kenyatta called